Hello and welcome back to another episode. It's going to be a really quick one today. I know I say that a lot. And what I'll do is I'll dribble on for 15-20 minutes. But if you're from Australia, you're probably going to know what I'm talking about. And if you're a parent like I am, it's probably going to be the bane of your existence. It's recorder season. A couple of people across the road moved in. They brought their kids along, which is perfectly fine. No issues with that. It's probably the ones you hear screaming in the background occasionally in a couple of videos a couple of weeks ago. But looks like Santa may have brought them a recorder for Christmas. If you don't know what a recorder is, it's very similar to a flute. I'm pretty sure you'd have it over in the States, definitely in the UK, but in Australia it's kind of a nightmare fuel that kids will get sent home when they're in year 5. They normally do renditions of Hot Cross Buns, which is an Easter song. Hot Cross Buns. There's a couple of other songs as well. If you're an Australian, and by all means, please put it in the comments what your recorder nightmare stories are. On the piggybacking from yesterday's video, a lot of fantastic comments as to what to do with the computer. I'm going to compromise with you all and do something that no one's actually raised and something that I didn't think of. I'm actually going to put it on eBay. Going to list it for $300, and I'm actually going to put it up there for pickup only. So a bit contradictory what I said yesterday, but I'll use the shops around the corner like I did mention yesterday. And what I'll do is I'll leave it there for about a month, give it a full 30-day cycle. If it hasn't sold from then, what I'll do is then I'll take the listing down, strip it for parts and go from that way. Because King Nostalgia did say that, you know, do what he does, try and fix it, because probably the motherboard will need to be recapped. I'm not necessarily sure what that means. I think it's got to do with the capacitors. Soldering, which, you know, I told you my story yesterday about electrocuting myself trying to fix an arcade board. And when I was trying to fix it, all I tried to do was open the back up, then land it across the garage. So the likelihood of me probably launching myself across the garage is quite high if I try and strip this apart. So what I'll do first up is I'll just put it on eBay, pick up only for $300. Go from there, because like a couple of people said, and I'm pretty sure it was King Nostalgia as well, correct me if I'm wrong, that, excuse me, I've got a cold coming on. I know I showed you all the fantastic photos of my backyard yesterday and doing some yard work, and for some reason it's really muggy here. It does things with my sinuses and all these different things. I had to suck on a Vicks Vapor Drop, which is kind of like a cough lolly. But going back to what King Nostalgia said, is that you run the risk of the motherboard having battery corrosion. You have all those different things. So there is a lot of things working against me for this machine. Yes, it did power on. I think it's the power supply is probably a bit aged and going from that way. But if I can list it, someone comes and picks it up for $300, I'm home and hose. I'm more than happy. I paid $30 for it, and it's gone to a good home, and I don't have to worry about electrocuting myself and throwing it across off the garage. A lot of comments regarding people picking up stuff from After Dark on Facebook Marketplace, and a rental story as well. That one did amuse me. Apparently they had a run-in with a rental property that they went to look after dark. They had a run-in with a drunk person and a lady that was probably singing. Very similar to Warwick Moss and The Extraordinary. Thanks, Peachy. I thought I did mention that yesterday in video, but that little clip that I did with the ghost story, that was from Telly Savaeus, I'm pretty sure his name was. Apparently he's a pretty famous actor way before my time. Loved that, and I can't stress enough. When I watched that episode when I was probably about 10, back in the early 90s, well, it's now 2025, and I still have nightmares about that voice. So, when I was doing that little clip, it literally gave me spine tingles and chills down my spine, all those different things. So, like I said, I'm quite surprised a lot of people do go after dark, and I'm pretty sure it was Phil Five and Dime that did mention that, go to a police station where he is. They do have like a public meetup place for Facebook Marketplace, for Craigslist, or if you're in Australia, probably Gumtree. I don't know if many people use Gumtree anymore. Infinitely safer than doing it in an empty car park. My shops, it's like down in Canberra, they've got every little suburb's got its own little grocery store and kind of like a bar and some specialty stores and a pharmacy and all those different things. So up to about 8 o'clock, it's buzzing. There's lots of people around. I would probably do arrange a pickup between 7 and 8 o'clock if I was going to use that location. So please don't go after dark. They are some pretty funny stories. And It never ceases to amaze me that, that as much as we was, especially me and I dare say a lot of other people as well, was stranger danger when we were kids. Then when we get to adults, we do the stupidest stuff, like run into drunk people with, ladies out the backyard screaming in the moonlight, and me getting potentially, taken out by a ghost lady, and some guy that recognised me, but I got out of that one quite quickly. So we want a little update on the Japan challenge, and I promise I will speak English one day. I'm slowly learning it. I'm a born Australian, I suppose you can say from that perspective, and I still can't speak our native language. But an update on the Japan $50 into $30,000 challenge. I did sell one of the Switch games that I put up last time, Just Dance 2. I think it went for about $27 plus post, so I brought it about $36 after fees, eBay fees. I didn't promote it because it was like a very high sell-through rate. Came to about $33. Coincidentally enough, this guy actually lived in Sydney, which is fantastic because I'm on band 5 with Australia Post, which is kind of like if you're an Australian and you aren't on my post, please go to the post office. Tell them you'd like to join up to my post business because you'll go straight to band 3. And I'm not too sure if someone in the comment sections, it was actually the guy at the post office that told me it's more of a loyalty rewards program opposed to a business program. So if you look at it from that perspective, look at it from flybys or credit card points, they're giving you money for free. So as a band 5 member in Canberra, Sydney's classed as same city for us. So for this particular game, I only paid $6.57. What's going on? The streets are live today. $6.57. So I walked away with just around, I think it was $26.38. I will flash it on the screen if I remember. After fees and postage, all those different things. And what I did then is actually, I know K-Fun was probably a bit unhappy about this. I actually consigned those Warhammer books that we talked about the other day. So I isolated $150 in future earnings. I don't know if you can do that, but like I was saying, it's a dealer's choice. I can make the rules as I go. I want to go to Japan, so I've isolated $150 for those Warhammer books. Each book worked out to be about $5.26, and I did use that last $10 to buy 2 books, which would have been, like I said before, about $10.80 for those 2 books. So with that $26, I bought another 5 books out of that allotment. Once I get past that initial $150, that $150 that I paid for those Warhammer books is going back to my Octopus account for savings or for procuring more stock on that side. And I have said before about the challenge. I am using my established eBay store. For the simple fact is, I want the traffic. I will be working against everything, and I'll be like pushing stuff uphill if I created a new Facebook page, a new eBay account just primarily for this challenge, because it'd probably take me 2 or 3 months to get the sales history and all the limitations taken off eBay. I want to kind of punch this through. So if you do have a buying account, an established buying account, I'd probably use that as a seller account. You might have some limitations, but you still got that history there for you. You probably go a lot further. So unless it's absolutely necessary, don't create a brand new eBay account. Unless you're brand new to the space, you can't help it. But like I was saying, if you've got an established account, by all means use that. You're not trying to win internet friends, or you're going to be working against yourself otherwise. So like I was saying, it's $26 for those. Bought 5 more Warhammer books back into the thing. So what I've done on the weekend, I actually created, I think, 30 or 40 drafts of those Warhammer books. Those Warhammer books look to have sold comps are about 30 plus post to 40 plus post, and some of the rarer titles up to $60, $70 plus post, which I do have in that allocation. What I did is I cherry picked the 5 that had most recent sold. So not necessarily the highest amount they'll go for, but they're the most recent solds for that book. If you do come across Warhammer books, go to Warhammer 40k Legends, I think they're called. If you're in the States, you're probably a bit out of luck because they don't go through as well over there as they do here. But find one of the titles for the books. Just say Brothers in Blood. I'm not too sure if that's one of them, but that's the kind of naming convention we're looking at. Look for the original books. Some of these original books, from, I dare say, from the 80s and the 90s when they came out, they had that fantasy art, that really cool fantasy art on the front, very similar to, it's probably not a very good one, but Star Wars books, they go for copious amounts of money. I think I've seen one for about, sold listings in the States for about $250. So definitely be on the lookout for those ones. I did get a package from Cara, and hopefully it's all right if I use her first name. So I did put something on the community page. Cara reached out to me probably not a couple of weeks ago, probably about a week ago, and said to me, hey, look, I've got some Skylanders I picked up from Vinnie's. They're not my wheelhouse, almost verbatim for what she said. Would you be interested? I can send them to you for free. And I said, look, I'd be more than happy to take them, but please let me pay for the postage. Long story short, she wouldn't let me pay for the postage, so big thank you, Cara. If you are into designer clothes, go across to her website, designerloot.com.au. I'm pretty sure her eBay username is designerloot2015, but I will double check that, and if I have to, I'll make an amendment up here somewhere, but I'll also put it in the show notes. So if you are into designer clothes for yourself, help out another fellow reseller and buy some stuff from her. I really have no fashion sense, so I can't give you one way or another what to go from that way. But some very good characters in here, Cara, so thank you very much. Very happy to have them. What I'm going to talk about today is, Skylanders, you haven't heard about that for a while. But this one's called a giant character, right? So he's got an orange base. What I find a lot on eBay, and like I say, I'm not trying to exclude people from selling Skylanders on eBay, but it literally drives me insane when people sell Skylanders on eBay for more than I charge untested. So, ones that Cara sent me, there was 2 or 3 characters that were broken, missing limbs. I haven't actually tested them yet, so I can't actually tell you if they're working or otherwise. But the broken ones, I donate to. I give to a kid in the suburb. He's got special needs. He loves them. He just plays the games, which is more than doing all those different things. So regardless of the characters, a 10-cent character all the way up to a $300 character, if it's broken, it's not going in my store. Significant broken, right? I'll put a caveat on that, and I'll give it to him for free. So I want him to be happy. But like I was saying, I don't want to throw them out because they're still good. If they're a danger, these ones tend to, like, there's some of the orange base characters that are very narrow on the bottom and they break off and they have all the wires coming off. It's not going to electrocute you. It's not going to hurt you because there's no current going through them. And if you do get a current through them, you're probably doing something wrong. However, like I said, I'll exclude those ones from his pile and just throw those ones out because, like I said, they're no good to anyone. But going back to what I was saying quite quickly before the recorder starts up again, the easiest way to test these, especially the giant characters, are really, really big ones, so the ones almost as big as your hand, throw them on a portal. More often than not, if you come across Skylanders, it's going to be a cheap portal there. As long as it doesn't say Xbox 360 or Xbox One on the back, and I don't have a portal here at the moment to show you, it'll just say Portal of the Power or Traptanium Portal or something along the lines of that. Plug it into a USB port, so your computer, plug it into your router. Actually, believe it or not, I actually plugged mine into my router. So if I get a bundle like Cara sent me, I'll plop it on the router. Specific characters, right? So if you know what you're looking for, you know what you're looking for. And if it doesn't glow or it does glow, it goes from there. So this one, going back before I wrap this video up, this is a giant character, big as your hand. So the reason why I told you to plug in a portal, if you're getting these characters, and these are quite abundant, and this one probably about the $10 mark, his head, like the little orange flame there, you can see, will actually glow. And once that glows, that character's working. If it doesn't work, the character's shot. It doesn't work. So there's not really many, and it's pretty, very isolated in what you can actually check. This is the bag. There's a couple of bags in there for me. Like I said, that I'm trying to give you tips, picks and tips, how to test Skylanders. What I'll suggest, if you are getting into the Skylander niche, buy yourself a cheap Wii or a Wii U, probably around about that $50 if you're looking for a Wii. Buy yourself a copy of Skylanders Imaginators, which I think's only on the Wii U. Definitely don't buy it on a Switch because it's about a $300 game. It's a bolo. If you come across Skylanders Imaginators at EB Games or in the wild, grab it as soon as you can. It's about a $300 game and it'll probably go like that. But get yourself a cheap Wii U. If you do find one on Facebook Marketplace, cheaper the better. It doesn't need to be anything special. Get a copy of Skylanders Imaginators, which is probably going to send you back $10. That game will play every character up to that point. It's the last game, so we'll play every character, and there's 2 characters that are Donkey Kong and Bowser. I think she actually... No. I must have been dreaming. Donkey Kong and Bowser, they're only playable on Nintendo consoles, so you're going to play them on the 3DS, the Wii, or the Wii U. So Superchargers, which is the car racing one, which a lot of people bag. It's not one of my favourite ones. New message. Oh, someone's sending me a message about something. But yeah, like I was saying, is that if you're testing them on PlayStation or you're testing them on the Xbox, testing them on your computer, because there is Skylanders on the computer, believe it or not, those 2 characters won't work. They're only licensed by Nintendo to work on Nintendo products. So like your 3DS, your Wii, your Wii U, and your Switch as well. So like I was saying, is that probably the cheapest way to get into the Skylander niche if you're finding them. If you're not finding them enough to go through all that rigmarole, just sell them to me. Just reach out. In the process of organising a phenomenal deal, like the deal that went, drove 6 hours to a couple of weeks ago to pick up those Skylanders you've seen for $2,500. I thought that was probably my best Skylander deal to date. I actually had someone reach out to me on Facebook Marketplace and said, hey, look, I'm looking at selling these Skylanders. I was a bit apprehensive. I thought it was Judder. Sent me 22 photos of, pardon my French, fucking decent characters, right? And I asked him, how much do you want for them? He said, $500. And I was like, okay, cool. Yep, I'm trying to contain my excitement at this point. One of the characters goes for $450. And there is literally 3 or 4 grand worth of characters here for $500. And I said to him, okay, cool, where are you located? And expecting him to, say somewhere like Melbourne, because he had to say kill the picture. He's in Canberra, so I'm actually waiting to hear back from him at the moment when I can actually come pick them up. Hopefully it's not Judder, because I know where Judder lives, and I will, do a Facebook Marketplace pickup with him after dark if it is him playing a game on me. But in all seriousness, if I do get that deal, I'll either ask him if I can film it, or alternatively, what I'll do is I'll basically do like an unboxing video and show you what you need to look for. A lot of these characters in this lot that he's after, I've only seen once. And I have seen, I've sold thousands and thousands and thousands of Skylanders. I've only seen certain characters once. So, well and truly happy if this pays out and it's not some guy just taking the piss. But anyway, unfortunately we didn't have a Idiot Abroad story yesterday, I don't think. I'm losing track, but I'm back at work today. As you can see, I'm clean shaven. You can see all my chins for days. Went back to work today. It was one of the ladies next door, because I kind of work in a section that has 2 units. If you're in the military, you know what I'm talking about. But two businesses that coincide with each other per se. So she came over to say hello, and for some reason we got into Blake's carnivore diet, because her husband's on carnivore diet. I was talking about Blake Gorfine, Life of a Reseller, his carnivore diet. Then somehow that story progressed into alpacas. So we're going to talk about so we're not going to talk about Idiot Abroad stories today. We're going to talk about the trials and tribulations of what I put my parents through. Because my dad, probably very similar to me, I think I have said that before. He's quiet, but he's serious in the sense that, if I say something or someone says something, he takes it on face value. So for some reason, I can't sure what it was, about 5 or 6 years ago, my sister and I were taking the piss out of my dad, and we told him we were going to get him an alpaca for his birthday or for Christmas. I can't remember what it was, but his yard's the size of a normal suburban yard. So he doesn't live on acreage, he doesn't live on massive farmland. It's just like literally probably a 600 or 700 square metre block. I don't know, caters to anyone in the States, but just a normal suburban house. Then you keep going, Josh is just taking the piss, Josh is just taking the piss. Then my sister said to him, no, I think he's, going to get an alpaca, because he sent me a message the other day saying that he's coming up with all these alpaca names, like, James Packer, which is obviously an Australian businessman, alpaca lunch, so all these different names. I'm not too sure if alpacas are anywhere else, but they're kind of very similar to llamas. I'm probably going to have someone in the comment section screaming about llamas and alpacas, but we're just going to go for that. I don't know the difference. So long story short, when I was over in Perth, so I was posted over at Perth at the moment, and I had a guy that was working for me, lovely guy, fantastic. We became friends. I actually worked with him before I commissioned, many years ago when I first joined the Air Force. He was my sergeant. He worked with me as a flight sergeant over here. So we had a really good close relationship. He was quite a loose unit, what we call that in Australia. So it's kind of like a really, I really don't know how to explain loose unit. It's more of a term of endearment, I suppose, from me. So let me know in the comment section below, Graham or someone else who can probably describe what a loose unit is better than I can. So what I did to him, I said, hey, look, do you still have that overall set? He's like, yeah, no, I do. I have that overall set. I said, cool, I'm going to borrow it. So on Friday afternoon, there was an alpaca farm or an alpaca paddock with some alpacas in it. On the way home, so about 5 minutes away where we worked. So he put on his like a broad brim hat because he was bald, put on his overalls like with the little flap at the back here and his boots, came down, and we got a photo. So another guy that worked for me at the time, this is this is your resources at work. So we had it position, if you will. So he was standing here, Randall. He doesn't watch this channel, he doesn't even know I'm doing it, so I can use his name. So Randall was sitting here pointing like with something hanging out of his mouth, like it was like supposed to be a bit of wheat or something, pointing at an alpaca. I was doing this, going like that, and my other guy that worked for me was just taking a photo from this perspective. So then we sent that to my dad, and he was freaking out. He was legitimately losing it, thinking he was getting an alpaca for Christmas or for his birthday or Father's Day. So that is the kind of personality I've got, is like really committed. I should be committed, but that's my sense of humor. So let me know in the comment section below, what's your funniest farm story, or what's your funniest story, or what's your funniest story that prank that you've played on anyone. It doesn't necessarily need to be your parents. As long as it's harmless, right? Like, don't set someone on fire and go for there. But anyway, leave it down in the comment section below. Let me know in the section if you like these kind of videos, what time you would like these released. So currently I'm releasing them about 8 o'clock every night for January. I'm going to see how I go. It's getting pretty warm here at the garage, and I'm going to pass out from dehydration. Or alternatively, if you want me to release them in the morning, I can release them at 6 a.m. for Australian, which is probably about maybe lunchtime for Americans. I'm not too sure what time. It might even be later. I'm not too sure. You can work it out. What time you would like it done, and if you haven't already, like, comment and subscribe, because like I said, we're trying to get to 50,000 by the end of the week, which is 47,983 away from it. Anyway, we'll see you next time. Bye.